Yeah. See, Cecilia is a very odd character, because she herself is not truthful, at all. It's difficult to believe anything else around her. And for instance, I've met her parents and I've interviewed them a number of times when I worked for the magazine and so. And I must tell you, honestly, the things they told me were just as bizarre as the things that Cecilia would claim, in the sense of I once interviewed her parents, and this was during the trial, whatever. And they would tell me these bizarre stories that people would drive them off the road. He once claimed he was kidnapped. They said that their house, someone was shooting at their house. And they live in the small, or not small, they live in the Randfontein, right? On the small holdings. That's what I was trying to say. So it's not like a big city life or whatever. So I think, if someone would come to make trouble there, they are really going, out of their way. But all these incidents, her parents told me about them being stalked and people targeting them. I could, for instance, never prove it. So you get to a point where you don't know where to believe. You know what to believe. For instance, at that time when I interviewed Cecilia's mother and them, they still believed that she had a matric qualification. So the mother would say, no, but Cecilia went to this college, would give her name in Johannesburg. So then you think, okay, it can be, let's say, a pop-up college that's closed in the meanwhile, but it just all adds to the lies, you know. Recently, I actually discovered I've got a Krugersdorp file, so you don't realize that you gather so much information over a time of 5 years. And even in even in those files, I found copies of affidavits that her mother, her father, and her sister made against Cecilia, but also bizarre stories, and it's things that I thought, I don't even know if, we could actually share this. That's why I haven't shared it before, but obviously I can refer to it. But these bizarre things of Cecilia, um, holding them up with a gun, and the father claiming all these sorts of weird things, Cecilia, the things where she claimed, her father's out to kill her. Um, so it's so many things. And with Cecilia, it's like I feel that you cannot get to the bottom of it because there's so many layers of lies, Where are you getting to the true Cecilia? And for instance, her current life or her pre current life, before she got arrested, she was a mother of two children and married to a policeman. So her children at that time were both in primary school. Her son playing cricket and excelling in cricket. So now you ask yourself the question, what type of mother, gets involved and plans um, killing people, scamming people out of money, manipulating people, all sorts of those things, while the real life, happens around her. It makes you kind of wonder, what type of person is this? And if you listen to yeah, do you want to ask a question?
No, 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 no. I'm going to elaborate on that later, but please finish.
But if you ask people stories about her, I've spoken to so many people, the things she told them, and then you always wonder how can they believe this? But she had so much time on her hands to do this. And that's why I say, I don't think we'll get to the real Cecilia anytime soon. I think she's mastered the art of manipulating everything around her so much that I don't even think she knows who she is anymore. Because is she a Satanist? Is she a saint? Is she a mother? We can all argue.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to mention now is that there's so many layers of lies that the individual themselves actually forgets exactly where they're from. They actually forget the original story. So there's, an argument to be made that she actually can't tell the original story anymore because, she's so convinced by the environment that she's in. And given the fact that she was so convinced, I mean, there evidently was, facts presented in the trial, and all the stories surrounding it. Like, for example, in the Satanistic rituals that she would perform to convince people she was a Satanist, she would use fake blood and all the other type of alluding towards, rather an image rather than something specific. Is there any type of definition, given the fact that she actually then very much later led into real murders and real killings with, obviously real consequences, that she may have indeed actually been a Satanist? She really was convinced and she really was herself a witch in that regard.
I honestly think it's not true. What I think is that people are scared of what they don't understand, and people don't understand Satanism at all. So, for instance, I think when she puts up these shows, for instance, and when it happened with the blood and everything, it is so scary and it's so unreal. You don't have any other choice but to believe it, right? And see, the thing is, if you also go look at what real Satanism is, um, versus what Hollywood, glamifies it to be. It's two different things. So I don't think she is actually a real Satanist. No, I would always say she is the puppet master. She is, I think she could be South Africa's best con artist, because if you look at how she carried herself in court, she comes across as vulnerable and soft, and she could break any time, and she's got, she doesn't know anything. But I mean, look at just that, what we all saw on camera versus how many people have died. And then what's the worst to me is that she can't even admit that she had part of it. So if she claims to be this high witch and what, this powerful, why not own up and, take, take what you want, take that fame. I think she enjoys this game. And I'm really, really, really sure that she will be doing exactly the same in jail. You know, I'm too scared to even think, what sort of lies she tells people inside there. And I'm sure if you actually do find someone, you'll find she would tell them that she did all the murders, that type of thing. So I think to her whole thing is just, playing mind games.